Addressing overcrowding in the Washington County Jail. County leaders giving us an inside look at a new mental health court. And more changes coming to schools in Fayetteville with renovations and some new buildings.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News First at 4.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Bob. Want to take you back a week. A week ago
today. Do we have to? Why would you bring that up?
It was cold. It was
miserable.
Snowing was coming down.
Frigid.
And now it is warm when you stand outside.
Darren, you won't believe it.
What in the world?
Well, Arkansas and Oklahoma, right? I mean, this is case in point. There are some locations this afternoon that are actually in the low 80s. Waldron specifically warming up to 80. We're so close to it in Poto and Boonville. Current temperatures sitting at 79 degrees. Man, oh man, just a fantastic afternoon. 77, the current number in Fayetteville, Huntsville right now, reporting a temperature of 73 degrees. We're sitting at 75 in both Rogers, Springdale, 76 in Siloam. A fantastic day. Got some more nice weather in the forecast, but there are some changes to track. First thing you're going to notice, late tonight, clouds will be on the increase into the overnight hours. Temperatures, though, likely only falling into the upper 40s, low 50s out there. So we're not going to get too cold overnight. Cold enough, cool enough, I should say, that you probably do want that light jacket out the front door tomorrow morning. Overall, not necessarily a big deal. We'll notice those clouds are going to continue to build into the area. That's all in advance of a cold front. It's a weak one, but it is a cold front that's going to move through tomorrow. Brings a slight chance of rain. We'll track that on Futurecast. It does drop our temperatures a little bit. And then we quickly rebound going into the weekend. It's going to feel fantastic. Now, the latter part of the weekend into next week, a little bit of a different story. We're going to go from a pretty quiet weather pattern to a busy weather pattern. What that means for you locally and how you can plan for it. Coming up here in just a few.
All right, Scott, thanks. New at 4 today, the man who planned to kill 2 people at Central Mall in Fort Smith will now spend 8 years behind bars. That's according to his attorney. Rodney Sheffield was arrested last spring. He told police he was not happy with his Social Security disability claim. Investigators say he was headed to the mall where his attorney's office is located and wanted to shoot people who were there. Police say a witness called 911 after Sheffield told them about his plans. Police pulled him over on Rogers Avenue and found a rifle in his car and magazines in Sheffield's pockets. Washington County ready to begin a new mental health court aimed at addressing prison overcrowding by offering repeat offenders the chance to turn their lives around. County Judge Patrick Deacon says a Bureau of Justice assistance grant for about $500,000 is paying for the specialized mental health court. That money expected to help 20 people as of right now. Those 20 will be considered low-level repeat offenders. They'll go through a multi-phased intervention process, including treatment, counseling, and community supervision. Judge Deacon says the pilot program will help address public safety as well as mental health issues in the county.
Mental health court's going to be an incredible asset for us here to make sure those people that have transgressed the law but are vulnerable can get the resources they need to improve themselves and never transgress the criminal justice again.
Now, if you'd like, you are able to observe these court sessions. They'll take place Thursday at the Washington County Historic Court. Changes in the works for Fayetteville Public Schools with plans in motion to build new junior high campuses and updating existing ones. 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley spoke with the superintendent about the district vision and what families can expect in the future.
Fayetteville is in the process of a major transformation when it comes to its junior high schools. The district is working towards a major shift in its feeder pattern, or the way students move up through schools. With that, 2 schools are getting new campuses and another is getting some upgrades. Those changes include adding a 3rd junior high and new campuses for the 2 existing ones. Superintendent Dr. John Mulford says construction will begin this summer at John L. Colbert Middle School as it transitions into a junior high with additional athletic and elective spaces there. Meanwhile, a brand new Woodland Junior High is set to be built at Joyce and Crossover, with construction expected to begin on that later this year. And at Ramey Junior High, conceptual designs for a new building were revealed last month. While the project is still in the early stages, Mulford says the new campus will be located near its current site. If all stays on schedule, these projects will lead to a new feeder pattern for students starting in 2027.
When these are all done, we'll essentially have 3 junior highs that are all essentially brand new, so within about 5-6 years of each other. So that's something we're very excited about, because one of the components of our feeder pattern was to once kids hit middle school and above, that they would have a very similar experience no matter where they go. And when you have 3 buildings that are all basically brand new, it also provides that similar experience.
Construction for these will be happening in phases over the next several years, with the new Woodland Junior High set to open in 2027 and the new Ramey Junior High in 2029. And as construction is set to start at Colbert over the summer, the district says it will work to minimize any disruptions for students during that time. Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
All right, Morgan, thanks. Right now, confusion among federal workers over Elon Musk's email over the weekend. Musk wanted 5 bullet points from employees outlining their accomplishments over the past week. As Erica Brown reports, it is the latest effort from the Musk and Trump administration to slash the size of the federal government.
A group of federal workers impacted by recent layoffs took to Capitol Hill Tuesday to plead their case to lawmakers.
We're going to head up to the first office, and you're going to tell your story, and then we're going to go to the next office, and then we'll just keep going on.
Soon, more former co-workers could be joining their ranks, as some of the president's advisors insist federal employees must comply with Elon Musk's ultimatum to send 5 accomplishments from the past week or risk being fired.
People need to be accountable. You need to be able to answer the question. If you couldn't answer it yesterday, you have till today. But the reality is accountability is real.
But there have been conflicting messages from the Trump administration, including a letter from the Office of Personnel Management saying agency heads may exclude personnel from this expectation at their discretion, but also agencies should consider any appropriate actions regarding employees who fail to respond.
The agency heads will determine the best practices for their employees at their specific agencies.
Some Republican lawmakers continue to support the sweeping cuts from President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency as they push to slash the size of government.
They're going line by line and trying to make sure the money is being spent well. So that's exactly what they ought to be doing.
And some lawmakers have downplayed videos from recent congressional town halls showing constituents upset about the cuts.
Some of the people that hijacked those town halls are happy with the bloated status quo.
Republican Congressman Rich McCormick, who faced pushback last week, now says the mass firings should slow down to study their impact. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
So far, the White House says more than 1 million federal workers have responded to Musk's email from last week. Well, a major shakeup at Starbucks after sales fell last year. The giant coffee company cutting menus and its corporate staff, laying off 1,100 workers today. CEO says it will not affect any in-store positions, but the company is reducing its food and drink menu by 30%. Those changes begin next week.
Now, part of the problem is longer wait times, but many consumers have also turned away due to increased prices. I mean, we know people are worried about inflation, so that makes it harder to justify a $6 latte.
Coffee prices have risen 23% since the start of this year, and since 2020, the average price of a pound of coffee is up nearly 70%. The increase is partly due to drought and flooding in Brazil and Vietnam, 2 countries that produce more than 50% of the world's coffee. Apple says it plans to invest nearly $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years. The tech giant's plans include the hiring of another 20,000 workers in the U.S., a massive manufacturing plant in Houston to make servers for the company's artificial intelligence services, and the creation of a manufacturing academy in Michigan. Pope Francis remains hospitalized in critical but stable condition tonight. It follows days where doctors say his overall health was touch and go. During the day, the Vatican says he was able to get out of bed, eat on his own, and resume some work activities. He has not had a repeat of the respiratory crisis that he experienced over the weekend. Pontiff has now spent 11 days in the hospital for a host of health issues, including double pneumonia and mild kidney failure. For a second straight night, thousands of Catholic faithful gathered at St. Peter's Square, undeterred by the chill and steady rain, to pray for Pope Francis.
Well, I think it's a public manifestation of the love that we have for the Holy Father, the respect that we have for what he does for us, and that the whole body of the church, wherever they are, can pray and unite ourselves in prayer for his health and for his ministry.
Today, the Vatican says the Pope had a CAT scan to check his lung function. They have not yet shared those results. City council members in Bentonville set to vote tonight on doubling water rates. This affects both residential and commercial customers. That meeting starts at 6 at the Bentonville City Hall, where they will hear public comments about this. 5 News, of course, will have a crew there. We'll bring you the latest from tonight's meeting tonight on your 5 News at 10. Also happening tonight, Fort Smith Tip-A-Cop is back. It's all happening at the Texas Roadhouse there on 74th, where they're teaming up with law enforcement to raise money for Special Olympics Arkansas. Van Buren and Fort Smith police officers will be on hand to serve guests and collect donations. It all starts in about an hour.